Don't take my word for it. Look that mess up, please.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.
An educated and united public cannot be controlled. Get organized.
Learn to be active.
Looks like we got us another hit.
Did you tell her to get away from me? She's crazy.
Choose your destiny.
An educated and united public cannot be controlled. Get organized.
Learn to be active. Investigate both sides of the argument. Come up with your own conclusions.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whack and are not necessarily the views of anyone. ¿Cómo estás? Bien, 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 bien. ¿Podemos ayudarnos más? Sí se puede. Don't take my word for it. Look that mess up, please. How y'all feel? How y'all feeling out there? I ain't gonna lie. I'm barely motivated. I'm exhausted. Good thing spring break is next week. I'm gonna try to rest, but knowing me, it's probably not gonna happen. But I'm gonna try to hold myself accountable for actually getting some rest. Most likely, I'm gonna get ahead or try to get ahead on my work, so I won't be so stressed. But it is what it is, y'all. State of Affairs is the name of the show today. We're going to talk a bit about the State of the Union address. I want to talk a bit about Super Tuesday and some random news. That's what we're going to do today. So where do we begin? Where do we begin? The Oscars were tonight. Freaking Ramadan starts Monday. We had a busy week this week, right? Super Tuesday, State of the Union, a lot going on in politics. No, I don't really care about the Grammys like at all. That shit is dominating the news right now. I went to the AP to look at the headlines, and the headlines are all Grammy, Grammy, Grammy. I don't care about somebody being naked showing up for the Grammys. I mean, that might be something you're interested in. I'm not interested in Oppenheimer winning all the awards. It's not surprising to me that that's who won. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. That seems like all we have in every facet of our media. I don't know. Maybe it's wartime propaganda, you know? When you have wartime, you can't get any good news. You can only get, when I say good news, I mean like accurate news. You get a lot of propaganda when it's wartime, so maybe that's what it is. We don't even know it. What clip is this one? Let's see.
Here's the guy who's kicking off his general election campaign on the road up with Marjorie Taylor Greene. It can tell you a lot about a person who he keeps company with. And yesterday he was hosting at his club Viktor Orban, who says he doesn't think democracy works. Call him a fantastic leader. When he says he wants to be a dictator, I believe him. Folks, it's not hyperbole to suggest our freedoms are literally on the ballot this November.
They always say that our freedoms are on the ballot. What is this music they're finna play? Gonna get me flagged.
Riley would be alive today if Joe Biden had not willfully and maliciously eviscerated the borders of the United States and set loose thousands and thousands of dangerous criminals into our country. But if you're a disillusioned Democrat, of which there are many today, I extend an open hand, an open invitation, and I ask you to join us on the noble quest of saving our country, saving our country. Together, we will turn the page forever on the miserable nightmare of the Biden presidency.
Trump is hilarious to me. He said the Biden president, like it was hard for him to say it. It's like, let me think about how I want to say this. Yeah. Presidency, I guess I'll say it. Didn't they debunk that stuff about the lady? What was the part he said? Didn't they debunk that?
Thanks to our momentum.
The lady didn't have anything to do with the border, right? Am I tripping on that? What the hell? Can I freaking they're trying to make me play ads. I don't want to play no ads. Yeah, the thing Trump said about the chick and the border, I want to say that was debunked and it didn't have anything to do with the border. It's gonna pop up. I have it in my stuff, so hopefully I'll get to it.
If Joe Biden had not willfully and maliciously
Wait, what's the name?
Willfully and maliciously they would be alive today.
I still didn't get the name. Hold on, y'all. Trying to get that music they put in there.
Lincoln Riley would be alive today if
Lincoln Riley. Can we look that up? Can we fact check that right quick? Football player. I must have spelled his name wrong. Allegedly murdered by illegal immigrants, Lincoln Riley. University of Georgia. Let's look this up. Let's share this right quick. It says, what is this? People magazine? Could have got a better source. Jose Ibarra has been charged with murder in connection with the death of 22-year-old Lincoln Riley. Authorities have released the cause of death of killing of Lincoln Riley. The 22, so it's Laken Riley, the 22-year-old nursing student who disappeared while on a jog in Georgia college campus last week. Riley, a student at Augusta University campus in Athens, Georgia, died from blunt force trauma to the head. Sonny Wilson, the coroner of Athens Clark County Coroner's Office, and more confirms to People. Jose Ibarra, 26, has been charged in connection with Riley's death, according to an arrest affidavit reviewed by People. That's it. Riley was reported missing by a friend after she did not return from her jog on the University of Georgia campus on Thursday. Body was found later that day in the woods behind Lake Herrick, and she was unconscious and not breathing and had visible injuries. The UGA Police Department said in a statement. That's it. So I don't know exactly. I might be mistaken the name with someone else. Hold on, let's see this. Biden butchers the name of college student allegedly murdered by illegal immigrant. So how is her name spelled? Because here is spelled differently here. Okay. Biden butchers the name of college student allegedly murdered by illegal immigrant. Allegedly. During the State of the Union address, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene shouted, "Laken Riley, say her name." Biden picked up a pen in honor of Riley, but then mispronounced her name saying Lincoln Riley. Okay, so that's what it is. It's Laken, and he said Lincoln. An innocent woman who was killed by an illegal. That's it. Boy, our news sucks. Oh wait, there's a little bit more. It says Biden added to her parents, "I say my heart goes out to you. Having lost children myself, I understand." His comment referred to the murder of Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student who allegedly killed by 26-year-old Jose Ibarra, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. Anyways, let's play some clips from the State of the Union.
It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges, help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
I think Biden popped the Addy the beginning of this.
What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low, look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really.
So yeah, here comes the little clip that went viral. But yeah, so the Republicans put forth this bill and then they want to not pass it. Like, that's what's crazy to me. And like, I don't really know what to say, man. It's like the main issues for the election coming up is the border and the Gaza situation. So those are the two main topics I would say that's on the hearts and minds of the American people. And it's gonna dictate how this election turns out, So knowing that that's what Biden is talking about when he's talking about the political wins, knowing that is the issue, the way it's looking to me is that the Republicans don't want anything substantial to happen related to the border before the election. So then Biden can take credit for it and it'll be good for him going into the election. So they'd rather put it off until after the election, and hopefully Trump is in there, and then Trump can pass probably the same bill, and then he can get the credit for it and say, I did something about the border. So it's like, this is what I mean about the border being like a political tool. Like, do they really care? Do they really feel like it's an invasion? Do they really feel like it's such a serious thing that's happening that needs to be addressed immediately? Or do they feel like it's the perfect political tool? What do y'all think? Let me play this clip. This is the one that went viral. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene jumped in there. Biden looking around. Wait, I got something for this. Wait. I've been waiting for this. I knew y'all was going to do this.
Lincoln Riley.
Then he proceeds to mispronounce her name.
An innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly.
So yeah, the thing is that the system, they say come over legally. We're totally fine with people coming over as long as they do it in a legal way. But the way the system is set up is so convoluted and full of red tape and, you know, drawn out, dragged out, that it doesn't incentivize people to do it the legal way. It incentivizes people to do it illegally, you know. So if you really want to fix the situation, then you fix the way people are processed when they're coming in, when they're trying to get asylum or whatever the case is, that is done in expeditiously, you know. Then, you know, boom, you can send the people back or whatever. They can get their working green card or student visa or whatever it is, instead of having to wait 6, 8, 10, 20 fucking years. You know, it's just really silly the way the system is. There's a tweet about this. Let me go to it because it's relevant to what we're talking about here. Elon Musk tweeted about this. Let's see if we can find it. I need to refresh this page. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Am I sharing? Yes. He says, because I'm raising concerns about the flood of unvetted illegal immigrants overwhelming American cities, the press will often characterize me as an anti-immigrant. As an immigrant myself, nothing could be further from the truth. I am very much in favor of increased and expedited legal immigration for anyone who is talented, hardworking, and honest. It is bizarrely difficult and agonizingly slow to immigrate to the U.S. legally, but trivial and fast to enter illegally. This obviously makes no sense. So trivial and fast to enter illegally, bizarrely difficult and agonizingly slow to immigrate legally. So where is the incentive? You know, what we like to say on the show all the time is people manage systems, systems manage people. So the way that the immigration is dealt with in the United States is a system that manages people, and it incentivizes them to do it illegally. Now, if you have a lot of money, you can speed up the process and, you know, get your papers and be legal much quicker, you know. And there's other ways around it, you know, marrying someone and all of this. But I think that I was thinking about that, and it was like, the person that wants to marry someone so that they can be here legally, they're at the mercy of their husband or wife, you know, and it's just another way to subjugate these people, you know, and to use them in any way you see fit. And you'll be like, well, you better act right. I'll send your ass back, you know. It's really terrible to dehumanize these people and use them in that way. So the system being so convoluted and agonizingly slow, you know, it allows it to be, you know, taken advantage of negatively. Like, it's the same thing with the workers, you know, the ones that come over here that want to work, they work on a farm, and the farmer is like, you know, I ain't gonna pay y'all, and you can't say nothing, or I'm gonna go call ICE, you know, or I'm gonna pay you the smallest amount I could possibly pay you, and you can't say anything, or otherwise I'm gonna call ICE, because we know that all of y'all are illegal. And it's crazy because it's like, it's illegal for the people to come over here, but shouldn't it be illegal for the people to hire people that are illegal? You know what I mean? And benefit off of their labor and pay them pennies? You know, where is the outrage at the folks who are taking advantage of these people? Like, you know, maybe they wouldn't even come if they didn't know they could go straight up and get a job. Like, they probably come every season and go work on the same farm, you know, until the season is over. They go back home and then they come back again next season. You know, the farmers are waiting for them. They know they're coming. They're going to pick their stuff. Anyways, This topic is so like one. I was watching a video this week, and the guy was talking about how like he was specifically talking about the Israel-Hamas war, and he was like, after all of the stuff that has happened, if these people haven't come around to really understanding like the dynamics at this point, then they never will, you know, and they don't want to. They want to take the position that they have or whatever, you know, regardless of. That was another thing he said, like, you know, people think that if you can give people facts and data, that'll bring them around, you know. And the more I do this show, the more I come to the conclusion that that isn't true. I mean, like, I felt that way when I started doing this show. It's like I can just give people facts and data, information, and it'll help their perspective, you know. But it's like no matter what, they come in with their prejudices, they come in with their predetermined point of view, and no amount of facts and data is going to change that for a lot of people, you know. And that's not rational. That's not rational. I've moved in my positions over the time since I've started this show. I cover a lot of stuff, and the more I cover stuff, the more I understand things better, and my perspective changes. You know, if your perspective doesn't change based on new information that goes against what you were believing before, then what does that say about you? Some tweet replies. It says the media has masterfully removed the words legal and illegal in front of immigration. No doubt it's in conjunction with the political party with an agenda. I heard people saying that, but what are they talking about? Like, where are they even getting that from? Elon Musk replies, this is super deceptive. Another tweet reply says, what do you think about this prospect? Breaking, Stephen Miller says, if Donald Trump is elected president, the largest deportation effort in American history will begin at noon, Inauguration Day. Thoughts on this? I doubt it. He said he's going to enter the bring back the Muslim ban and not take any Gaza refugees. So there you go with Donald Trump's position on the Israel-Hamas war. People were saying different things, but what Donald Trump is saying out of his own mouth is that he's supporting Israel no matter what, you know, and he supports what Israel is doing, and he's not going to allow Gaza refugees to come to the United States if he can help it. So, you know, if there's any doubt on where he stands on that, there it is right there. This one, it says, the surge in public concern over immigration comes as record numbers of illegal immigrants cross the southern border. Marjorie Taylor Greene press release parody. What is this? It says, is this her thing? I don't know if that's really her. It says Donald Trump will close the border and mass deport every illegal on day one. Mass deport every illegal on day one. How could he even possibly do that? That is impossible. You know, that's crazy talk. I mean, even if he wants to do that, he tries to do that or whatever, there's no way, bro. Like, you know, the logistics alone is determining the people who are illegal. You know, that process, no way. On day one. Why do people say stuff like this? Like, it sounds really good. I guess it's that political thing, how they kind of like promise things that are basically impossible, but they sound really good and they get people going, like, yeah, he's gonna get rid of all illegals on day one. Yeah, America. He can't do that, bro. It's impossible. No. It says, do you support Donald Trump for president, Eon? I wonder, did he answer? It says Trump is also in favor of immigration. Here he states he wants legal immigration. Boom. Trump sets the record straight and explains how he wants people to come into America legally. He wants people to come to the USA, and America needs people. Immigrants has to be legal. Well, fix the damn process. Y'all want to talk about the border, shut down the border, close gates, put up walls, all of this. All you really have to do is fix the system.
Do you think that you demonized immigrants in
Not
this
at all.
election
No, not
to
at all.
try
I
to
want
keep
them. I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your
You know,
campaign?
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
Do you think that you
We need the people, but we want them to come legally. We'll fix the damn process, make it so where they don't have to wait 6 to 8 years. If the companies need workers, they're gonna be waiting 6 to 8 years for them people to get. It don't make sense. It says legal immigrants are disgusted by the surge of illegal immigrants into the U.S. Legals are even more upset by how the media tries to whitewash the invasion by conflating illegals with legals. There's a difference between following the law and breaking it. Yeah, people who they tend to be super conservative too. Like, I don't really truly understand that. And what does he mean by whitewash the invasion? By conflating illegals with legals? I don't know that they actually do that. And that whole sentence is crazy. Legals are even more upset with how the media tries to whitewash the invasion. Whitewash the invasion. Whitewash the invasion. How does, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. It says words have meaning. Illegal. What's the difference between an illegal alien and ET? ET learned to speak English and wanted to go home. The whole term, though, it's really dehumanizing. You know, illegal alien. That's a dehumanizing term. It gives the excuse to treat people terribly, you know. So words matter. Anyways, let's see. I wanted to do more on the main thing I wanted to cover about the State of the Union was when he talked about illegals. He said Ukraine has a shot to beat Russia. And I was like, come on, man. You still on that freaking you're still gnawing on that old bone? Come on, bro. Like, I don't think very many people at the beginning, you had a lot of people believing that could be true. But at this point, I don't think, I mean, even though the war has drawn out, you know, you would think that Russia would have wrapped it up by now, but you got the United States steadily feeding them with freaking weapons and money and shit, so it's keeping them going. But it's only resulting in freaking Ukraine being completely destroyed. But how many people actually believe that Ukraine is going to win against Russia at this point? And you got Biden spitting that, and it's like that was one of his comments that really kind of bothered me. And then the way he framed the Israel Hamas conflict kind of bothered me a lot too. Even though he did mention, you know, a two-state solution, and that thing has been gaining steam. And I think that, you know, as crazy and horrible as the situation is with the Hamas-Israel war, because it's so brutal and hardcore, I think that the best chance for the two-state solution in ever, at least since Bill Clinton, you know, what was it, Arafat? At least since then, the 90s, this is the closest that, you know, we've come to the realization of it. You know, it may actually freaking happen as a result of this craziness. You know, I mean, stranger things have happened, you know. And if you're the president and you talk about peace in the Middle East and you pull off a two-state solution, like that's something to hang your hat on, you know. But on the other hand, you have the old quote of Biden where he said, if there was no Israel, then the United States would need to create one. So the United States goals in that area kind of hinge on Israel being there, you know. and kind of stirring shit up, if you will. You know, having a base for United States intelligence agencies and so forth and so on to kind of monitor the Middle East, if you will. But things are getting heavy, you know. Israel may get to the point where it's more of a liability for the United States than a benefit, and that's what I'm thinking is happening. You know, and once that happens, then the United States, they're not going to drop Israel per se, but they're going to try to distance themselves from them, and I think that's what's starting to happen. Let me see. What did he start off with? The stuff he said about the taxes, I like that stuff. Let's see. What did he start with? That's another thing. This State of the Union was different. You know, the tone and feel of this State of the Union. You know, I've been into politics for a while now, and I always watch the State of the Union like thoroughly. Like I watch the whole thing. Like people watch clips or whatever, but the politics is my football. Politics is my sports, you know, like I'm into it. So like the clips isn't good enough for me, you know, like when the part where Marjorie Taylor Greene made her comments and that part went kind of viral, whatever, I noticed that on the White House release of the State of the Union, the cameras didn't shift to show Marjorie Taylor Greene. It sounded like a just random person in the background. You didn't know who was speaking, but the other coverage of it actually switched to her and showed her and showed who was talking or whatever, you know, like just like little details like that. And you don't get unless you like watch the whole thing. And like I say, the tone and feel of it was different, you know. And Biden was energetic too in this. Like I say, I don't know, did they give him some kind of drugs at the beginning of this? It was like, bro, you can't be sleepy up here. He's like, man, dope me up, man, hook me up. You know what I need. You know what I need, Jack. But the tone was different. You know, it was like a lot of time the State of the Union is like a matter of fact type of deal. It's like a formality. It's like, you know, just something I need to do or I'm supposed to do or whatever. But this one felt different. This was like it seemed like it mattered, you know, it seemed like more people were watching, if you will. Like it gained attention. Like State of the Union, it just comes and goes usually, you know, State of the Union address. And then you got the political pundits who cover it or whatever. But this was like different. Like it was bigger somehow. Like I guess because of the situation with Israel and Hamas, that might be a reason why it's. I really don't know why. You know, maybe it's political. I mean, it's election year. Is that why? I don't know. It was different. Oh, I'm not sharing. Hold on. Let me share. How long have I not been sharing? This is why I need an assistant.
Good evening. Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now.
You bet that. You got that right. Obviously not smart.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans, in January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either.
I think that he's right about that, you know, and maybe that's why the feeling and tone of this thing was different, because it's like, yeah, man, it's like I feel like the world is at a crossroad, you know. I mean, maybe it's happened in the past, maybe it's like that all the time, you know. Maybe we're always at a crossroad, but I'm acutely aware of it, you know. It's like, depending on the decisions that are made right now today, they're gonna have effects that's gonna reverberate for tens, you know, for decades, maybe 100 years. That's how I feel, you know. If the wrong decisions are made, it's gonna take 80, 100 years to fix it, and just to get back to this point.
Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time.
Freedom and democracy.
Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. But Ukraine can stop Putin.
Ukraine can stop Putin. Okay.
Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine.
Okay. Okay. We believe you. Or maybe it's just that that your money laundering train needs to keep going, you know. You know, we can stop Putin, you know. It's just gonna take another $50 billion, you know. That's, you know, another $50 billion, we can stop Putin. Yeah. You know, if that doesn't work, then another $100 billion. That'll get the job done. You know, we just haven't put enough money into it. That's all. Crazy. And he said, you can believe me that Putin isn't going to stop at Ukraine. I mean, are you sure about that? I mean, like, what do we know about that? Like, you know, are you saying that just because it benefits you and what you're doing? Or do you have some information that we don't have?
And provide the weapons that needs to defend itself. That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking
more
for American
money.
soldiers.
More money.
In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way.
There's American private contractors, though.
But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall."
Tear down this wall.
Now.
Yeah, but it wasn't Gorbachev. Well, it was the people, right? Am I getting mixed up with the what was it, the Berlin Wall? It was the people who did that.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
Bowing down to a Russian leader, it's like, I don't know, man. This like arrogance that the United States have, like that we can dictate to what other countries do all around the world, is pretty crazy to me. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on here in the United States. I think that domestic stuff is what we need to be focusing on, you know. And I don't think it's that bad that Trump said what he said about him. Putin's gonna do what he wants to do anyways. Like the information has come out that the sanctions are not working. They don't have an impact. You know, BRICS is growing. It's it's pushing other countries into the arms of China and Russia. You know, it's not having the impact that I always have to question, because I know a lot of these people are really, really smart. You know, the people behind the scenes, you know, they're really, really smart. So I have to say that the way things happen as a result of stuff like the sanctions are exactly what they figured was going to happen, because they look at the data and they know, but they tell us that it's something different, you know, and you know, so it's not working, you know, and I don't think Trump is wrong for saying that. I really don't. You know, it's like he says bowing down to just because you said, you know, do what you will, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean you're bowing down to that person, you know? And the whole thing is when Trump was in office, some of the best stuff he did when he was in there was related to diplomacy, related to North Korea, related to Russia, you know, not necessarily trying to make like allies necessarily with these people, but just kind of like opening dialogue with these people. And that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you know, that's one of the problems related to the Israel-Hamas war is Israel has that same kind of attitude. It's like, we don't have to talk to these people, you know? And it's like, I just, you know, how else are you going to move forward without having some kind of conversations with these folks? You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to, you know, support them. But, you know, they're leaders of their respective countries, states, or whatever you want to call it. And a dialogue is what you need to have. Y'all need to come to some conclusions to be like, you know, draw some lines in the sand or whatever. Like, you know, us not communicating is what's going to lead, what leads to possible war, you know, nuclear war, if you will. I was watching a video, really, I'm not going to cover it because it's too heavy, but it's, they were talking about the Bay of Pigs, you know, John F. Kennedy, you know, why he was assassinated and all of that, and how close we really came to freaking nuclear annihilation, you know, and how bad it scared JFK to the point where he was like, man, we got to talk. Like, we got to change the way we do things. We can't let it get to the point where it could possibly end up being a freaking nobody wins. Nobody wins in that scenario. Like, the Russians released their nuclear weapons, the United States released their nuclear weapons. Who's going to win in that situation? Okay. Everybody loses. We don't want that. Like, only an insane person would want that. You know, but the warmongers got us brainwashed and got us on this America, you know, blow everything up, you know, attitude. And, you know, it's only going to lead to us being destroyed.
America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight.
Yeah, Finland and Sweden and NATO now, and like, I thought these were like peaceful countries. Like, what problems do they have anyways? Like, is there somebody trying to invade them? Like, what is the benefit to them to join NATO?
We're going to stand up. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress We have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish.
See how they escalate things? You know, it's gonna put Ukraine at risk. It's gonna put Europe at risk. It's gonna put the world at risk. You know, like how that's a leap. That's a leap and a jump. Like that's a huge stretch. Like that, you know, but that's perfect for scaring people. That's how you control people, is through fear. You know, scare the shit out of them, and they're like, oh, we have to do something. You know, Russia's gonna take over the world. They're gonna destroy Europe
To do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
Stand, clap, on cue. Look at Nancy Pelosi. It's kind of weird for her to be in the audience, you know, to me anyways. Would be standing back there behind them normally, you know. But you got that guy, his head keeps getting cut off too in the screen. You can see Kamala Harris' face, but the other guy, his head is getting chopped off of the screen. That's kind of weird. I mean, why did the camera angle be like that? Anyways, it's weird to me to see Nancy Pelosi in the audience. She don't have nobody sitting next to her either. She's like, oh, no, don't sit next to me. And, you know, you're going to mess up my expensive suit. Like, you know, you're going to crinkle it. Like, you know, I need space over here. Like, sit over there. You guys are lucky I'm even out here with y'all. You know, I'm not the same as y'all. Look at what's her name? She lost her race. No, she won her race. She won her race recently, Super Tuesday. Why can't I think of her name? Harris County. Gosh, I can't think of her name. Look at these faces. Yeah, they're all standing up too. What's his name right there? Nobody. I suck at names. The names be slipping my mind. I suck at names.
We will not bow down. I will not bow down.
But see, so when him talking about this warmongering stuff, you got everybody standing up. So it's like bipartisan support for this war stuff, you know. So it's Republicans and Democrats. So the way it usually works, you know, Biden says something and then the Democrats stand up or whatever, you know. So that's how it works. But you got everyone standing up with him talking about this warmongering stuff. It's like, hey, this is good for business. This makes us all money. Yeah. Yeah, America.
In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you are here.
Who wrote that? That's pretty, like, poetic, if you will. He put a dagger to the throat of democracy.
We will not bow down. I will not bow down. In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy.
He put a dagger to the throat of American democracy.
Many of you are here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood.
Reading that teleprompter, stumbling over his words. It's like, bro, it's clearly right there. Just say the words, bro. Stop trying to be dramatic.
America stood strong and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th.
Predecessor. That's another thing that they were talking about. He kept on saying predecessor. He never said Trump's name. He said predecessor, you know, and the ego of Trump, it probably hurts him, you know, and they probably thought about this, you know, for a while. And they were like, you know, I don't want to mention his name. We're not going to say his name. We're just going to say predecessor. He said predecessor probably 20 something times, maybe more than that in the thing. So it's like predecessor, 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 like my predecessor. Like, I'm not going to say his name. Anyways, I don't want to bore y'all with this. This is my stuff. I'm probably going to move on. It was something he said in here that I did kind of want to cover. Let's see if I can find it before I move on.
I will not do that. History is watching another assault. Tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future
Just read the teleprompter, bro.
were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you were right about that.
Yeah, so that is something to think about when the election comes around. But I don't think it's going to have as much impact as they're trying to make it seem. You know, they're like, oh, all the women are going to vote against whatever, you know, because of the situation with Roe versus Wade or whatever. But I don't think that that's true. You know, it's a lot of women that's going to not, you know, support that either. So, but it's interesting, though. I like that he highlighted the fact that, you know, women can vote, you know, but I've seen some clips where it's like people are saying, you know, women shouldn't vote or whatever, like they shouldn't have no say in da 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 da. I don't know. It's been gaining power. I mean, it's been gaining steam on the internet. These sentiments related to that, you know. I might play that clip. I don't know if I have it. If I have it, I'm gonna play it. Let's move on. Let's look at Super Tuesday a little bit. Let's look at that. And we will come back to this a little bit and look at some clips that I have already set up. So yeah, so this week we had Super Tuesday, voting day, 2024 primary elections. Trump already has over 1,000 bound delegates. Nikki Haley dropped out. Let's see. Is this going to show it? So, hold on. Those are the states that voted. Donald Trump got 77.9% of the vote in Texas. Nikki Haley got 17%. Let's see, California, Donald Trump got 78.8% of the vote. Nikki Haley got 17%. Let's see. In Texas, Joe Biden got 84.6%. Marianne Williamson got 4.5%. I wonder if Marianne Williamson gonna drop out. The Texas race was really interesting to me because you had the situation with. So look, you can look at this one. Is Colin Allred. He's gonna go up against Ted Cruz as a result, and it got really ugly. Gutierrez got emotional. That's the guy who came in second. The Texas race was really interesting to me. You know, Texas is a red state, but you still have the issues within the Republican Party within the state of Texas. So, you know, you had Ken Paxton supporting people. He's on his revenge tour. All the people who voted to get him impeached, he's trying to get them out of office or whatever. And then you got Abbott and his people, you know, the people that he supports or whatever. So you had like this division where you had the Abbott people and then you had the Ken Paxton people, which made it interesting. You know, Texas is so big; it has these little rural areas with small, you know, populations, and you know, it just really gets interesting when you know these people generally they have the same views or whatever. I wonder, do I have the Texas stuff in here? I kind of want to look at the Texas stuff. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see. Oh, they did Katie Porter so horrible too, man. Let me see. Do I have that? They did Katie Porter raw. She vacated her other seat to run for Congress, and she lost because the guy, you know, it's in California, so it's the Democrats. And so that's kind of like how Texas is with the Republicans and the infighting between the Republicans. The same kind of thing was happening in California within the Democrats. And you had the front runner in California in her district supporting the Republican. And that's what happened. And that's how she ended up getting third place. And she won't be able to, she's out of there. I'm a fan of Katie Porter. It sucks what they did to her. They did her raw. Raw dog.
We know that tonight we will come up short. Let me also say this. Our opponents threw everything, every trick, millions of dollars, every trick in the playbook to knock us off our feet. But I'm still standing in high heels. The most important thing I want to say tonight is thank you. Because of you, we had the establishment running scared, withstanding 3-to-1 in TV spending and an onslaught of billionaires who spent millions peddling lies, and our opponent spending more to boost the Republican than promoting his own campaign. I want to thank each and every one of you, really, each and every one of you, for the support that you have shown me in this campaign and over the years.
Yeah, they did it really wrong.
Michigan will be one to watch.
But
While the votes are still coming in,
the establishment won, and that's what happens. The establishment wins. And that's what happened. And all the money, they need to take the big money out of politics because the people don't have any say. Well, they do, but they get manipulated in freaking the ads. There's so many ads. And it's crazy because that guy didn't even run ads, I want to say. The Republican guy barely spent any money. The Democrat person spent money, a lot of money, and he was putting the other guy's name in his ads. Crazy.
Steve Garvey talking to supporters as AP projecting him the second-place finisher in this primary contest for the U.S. Senate seat. Adam Schiff, number one. Katie Porter, the third-place challenger, talking to her supporters live in Long Beach.
And that is all because of you. So the most important thing I want to say tonight is thank you. Because of you, we had the establishment running scared, withstanding 3-to-1 in TV spending and an onslaught of billionaires who spent millions peddling lies, and our opponent spending more to boost the Republican than promoting his own campaign. I want to thank each and every one of you, really, each and every one of you, for the support that you have shown me in this campaign and over the years. I never even considered running for office when I was Betsy's age. I didn't consider it when I was her brother's age. I never considered it until Trump was elected.
We love you, Katie.
Thank you. To me, running for office was for people who were more polished, who had more perfect lives, people of a certain pedigree. But someone close said to me, as a woman, if you wait your turn, you won't get one. And what I found out over the last 6 years is that by and large, that is true. There are not a lot of people in Congress who are single moms like me. There aren't many of us who rely on our paycheck to make ends meet in Congress, who go to the grocery store and understand how much a loaf of bread costs. A question I wish I had been asked on the debate stage. But what our success over the last 6 years has shown is that Californians and Americans are hungry for leaders who break the mold. We Californians, we deserve honest leaders who are willing to call things like they are. You want elected officials who will deliver truth to power and exact real accountability from multinational corporations and government bureaucrats. You want leaders who demand better from both parties. Leaders who want progress, not partisanship. Officials whose bottom line is people, not profits. That is why we were able to turn heads in this campaign and make the people in power listen and run scared.
But you lost, and it's really unfortunate. You know, her career is over. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she could come back in the future. I don't know. I think that she's done. And it's really sad because people are be like, you know, we want fresh blood in there. They're like, everybody, the people, the politicians, the Congress, they need to get out of there. We need to get fresh new blood in there. We need to get regular folks in there, you know, regular Joe Blows, not these folks that are rich as hell and detached from, you know, regular folks. And, you know, Katie Porter was that. And the establishment pushed her out. You know, she was holding them accountable. Like, she was giving them the business, like, every day she was in there. They don't like that shit, you know, and the people aren't paying attention. They don't really understand how things work. And, you know, like they want regular folks in there or whatever, but that's not what we get. Because the money makes, you know, determines who wins. Some comments, it says, so disappointed. We love Katie. The establishment wins again. Another one that says, how the F could Porter lose? It's a lose for the entire country. What the F is wrong with you, California? Or what's wrong with the political system, the money in there? It says, total class right here. People pay attention. It says, hey, Katie, it says, Katie, you will have another chance at Senate for sure. I bet the Congressional House, who is so miserable and ineffective, the ridiculous focus and nastiness, you are a fighter and you can still be a huge help to clean up the house. But I don't think she gets to keep her House seat because she had to vacate that seat to run for Congress. And there was somebody running for that seat. It says, what a shame for the U.S. that they didn't choose Katie. She's one of the few who really worked for the people and one who was actually intelligent and did her homework as well as being ethical. Another one that says, I really wish she hadn't given up her seat. Me too. She gambled and lost. It says, I'll bet there's a sigh of relief from the representatives and CEOs of big business that Katie will no longer be at them with her whiteboard. I'm telling you, she was giving them the business all the time. They don't want people like that in there, really. That's why she's not going to be in there. Really fucking sad. Let's see, do I have the Texas stuff here? Let me see it. Devil's Advocate. That's the one I was talking about, JFK. And y'all should check that out. Real News Network. Let me see. California presidential primary. Texas primary election results.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Blake Hansen. We are beginning to see some election results come in. We'll be continuing to follow those results as we make our way throughout the evening. First, we want to get to the GOP primary in the race for president. No surprise here that Donald Trump has a sizable lead over his opponent. 74% to Nikki Haley with 21% will be a major factor tonight, how Nikki Haley does and whether she decides to continue on in this race, something that she says she will do. In the Democratic race as well, also no surprise that President Joe Biden is carrying a sizable lead in that race, 88% of the vote in his case over his opponents in that. As we look at the GOP primary for U.S. Senator, Ted Cruz is vying to carry on and continue his seat. He has a sizable lead, 89% over his nearest opponent. One of the big questions, though, is going to be who he faces in November in the Democratic primary. Colin Allred so far is carrying enough of the votes, still early in the evening, but enough of the votes to potentially avoid a runoff against State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who has 11%. Colin Allred already with some strong numbers in areas like Harris County, where he doesn't have the same sort of name recognition that he does in North Texas. A good sign for him. Also, there are some congressional races where several longtime members of Congress are not running for re-election. That includes House District 12 in Tarrant and Parker counties, the longtime seat of Kate Granger, A battle of endorsements in this race. Craig Goldman is backed by Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, former Governor Rick Perry as well. He has 54% of his vote over businessman John O'Shea, which has the backing of Ken Paxton. Texas House races, there are several races playing out across the state where that divide within the Texas Republican Party is very visible. You see no results here, but Collin County's early votes show that incumbent State Representative Jeff Leach has the lead over Darren Mice, a former Allen City Councilman. This is a key race to watch because remember, Jeff Leach, a big supporter of the impeachment of Ken Paxton, a fellow Collin County Republican. Ken Paxton has endorsed Mice. We'll continue to look throughout the evening and see how much value Ken Paxton's endorsement has as he tries to unseat and kind of have his revenge tour against those who voted to impeach him. Another situation, another seat where a member of Congress is retiring, in this case, Michael Burgess. Multiple candidates in this race. Brandon Gill so far with an early lead. He's the son of conservative commentator Dinesh D'Souza. Gill has the backing of former President Trump in this race. John Huffman, mayor of Southlake, with 10% of the vote. Scott Army with 16%. We'll be watching that one throughout the evening as well. And then there is the matter of who will take over for Colin Allred, who's opting to vacate his seat in order to run for Senate. State Representative Julie Johnson with an early lead of 46% over Dr. Brian Williams, but she needs to get 50% to avoid that runoff. Justin Moore with 11% as well.
Anyways, I'm going to move on. I think I'm going to come back to this. I don't want to bore y'all with the little details. I kind of wanted to get into the fight between the Republicans in Texas. But we're going to see if we can come back to that. Let me see. I'm not going to stay on here long tonight. Tired. Let's just do some random stuff. Make sure I got some clips for the reels and so forth and so on. Check this one out. It says, I'm beginning to think those executive orders Trump did in 2017, loosening regulations on aircraft manufacturing and allowing them to self-regulate on a range of manufacturing and safety issues, might not have been a great idea. And if you haven't known, like there's one where there's a tire fell off just the other day. What was it? Fire. All of these were on Boeing 747s. And, you know, some months ago, you had the one where the window blew open. And it's like, yeah, regulations. We had this whole argument on the show some weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, about regulations. And it's like, regulations are not bad. You know, regulations are a good thing. We need those things. And, you know, when you loosen up the regulations, that's when you have these train derailments. That's when you have these planes with windows flying off and tires falling off of them and stuff, you know, like these people, you can't leave it to them to do the right thing because they're going to keep cutting corners because they make more money that way. And that's the whole argument with the regulations is like, oh, it hurts these companies. They have to spend all of this money to deal with these regulations and so forth and so on. It's like, okay, yeah, well, the point of it is so that people can be safe. These corporations aren't going to do the right thing just on their own. They need somebody to force them to do it. Comments, it says, no corporation will ever self-regulate. It's all about greed and they have to be controlled. You know, controlled maybe is a strong word, but they have to be regulated. It says, another comment says, he had no great ideas. He has no great ideas. He will never have any great ideas. I don't like it when they say stuff like that because it's like, you know, you got the people who say, you know, like Trump, you know, Biden hasn't never done anything good. You know, and the people that say Trump has never done anything good. It's like the Democrats can't do anything good. The Republicans can't do anything good. And that kind of talk just simplifies things and allows you to turn your brain off and not actually look at the policies. Another comment says DEI is the problem. How is that related to the freaking... That's the problem. DEI is the problem. Okay. It says Forbes article that talks exactly about this and mentions Trump 2017 executive order. It says, isn't it weird how Biden hasn't bothered to undo it? It's almost as though corporations run both parties. By almost, I mean entirely, for sure, definitely do. Another one that says Boeing bought him then. No doubt they own him still. Another commercial comment that says regulations most often equal safety. Another one that says not when the wheels start falling off planes. See, that's what I was talking about. Another one that says as long as airlines are still doing in-house inspections, I suggest you watch your step walking outside. Crazy, crazy times. You know, whenever I see a Boeing commercial, I always wonder why would they even need to have a commercial? Like, I don't see a point in it. People aren't buying 747s. Like I'm sitting there watching a football game or something, and then a Boeing commercial comes on. Like, what is that gonna do? It motivates me to do what? Like, what are you selling me? Sad story right here. Check it out. It says North Shore High School senior Jarvon Coles identified as victim in deadly shooting at party in Humble. The community is mourning after learning that North Shore High School senior football player Jarvon Cole was killed in a shooting at a party in Humble. Jarvon's grandfather told KH11 that his grandson was a two-time first-time all-district linebacker who carried a 4.1 GPA. Jarvon had just visited Lamar University, where he planned to attend and play football. Really sad, man. Those house parties, and that's what I tell my daughter. I'm like, those house parties are dangerous. Like, some of the most dangerous environments that you can be in, because there's no real, like, there's usually no supervision. There's no parents. Maybe they are, but they aren't aware of what's really going on. Like, there's no security. There's nobody checking people at the door. You know, it's a dangerous situation, and that's what I tell my daughter. Like, those house parties, they might be a lot of fun, but they are very, very, very dangerous. So keep that in mind. You know, going to those house parties, I mean, even as an adult is dangerous, but for these teenagers, like, that's it's dangerous. Because, you know, what they say, your ops might just be trying to meet you somewhere, and they've been looking for you, and you go to this house party and boom. You know, the little beefs, the little dramas, they turn into life or death situations at them house parties. Really, really dangerous. You know, girls get assaulted, you know, boys get beat up, you know, people get shot. Those house parties are dangerous, y'all. And, you know, if your kids go into the house party, like, maybe you should go with them. I don't know. Keep them from going. Tell them no. I don't know. Really dangerous. Have some contact with the parents, the other parents, the ones who are, you know, putting on the house party. Do they have some security? Are they going to keep everybody safe? You know, this was a large house party, they said too. So, like, the bigger it is, the more dangerous it is. It's like, and the more out of control it is. Like, I don't know how you can even control the situation when you got like 500 teenagers. Like, that's an uncontrollable situation. They're drinking, doing drugs, they got guns. Anything and everything can happen. Couple comments. It says, my God, praying for his family. Another one says, parents, stop your kids from attending these parties. This is so sad, and the family needs justice. It says, it is legal to carry a firearm in public in Texas. Another one that says, Jesus, as a high school teacher, whenever breaks are upon us, it's such a feeling of relief and uneasiness. I always tell my kids to be safe, make wise choices, and I can't wait to see them, as mad as that makes me some days. Another one that says, this gun problem is seriously getting out of hand. Like, why do these kids think this is okay? How do these little ruthless child killers have no conscience? Who is raising them? Another one that says, and the NS family are heartbroken over this. Jarvon was a phenomenal young man. He is truly one of the best students I've taught. Rest in God's care, sweetheart. They just said 4.1 GPA. Like, that's crazy to maintain a GPA that high while you're playing football. Like, man, my GPA was not that high when I was in high school. I was on the swim team, but that didn't take a whole lot of my time. Like, I was wilding out and doing other things and not focusing on my work. 4.1, that's crazy. It says the second Galena Park ISD student lost to gun violence in a week. Another one that says, damn, we can't let our kids go nowhere now. Not to those house parties, man. I just say, tell them no. Another one that says, OMG, no, I hate when kids end up like this. They just be trying to have fun. I remember I took my son to a house party and I told him to, and it's dangerous. You know, I took him and then I was like around the corner. Like, I didn't leave the area. I was like, I'm not gonna leave the area. If you need me, call me and I'm come get you. I'm right around the corner or whatever. Like, because I really didn't feel comfortable leaving them there. Like, really wanted to go. He ended up staying for a while and then called me to leave, which was a relief for me. She didn't stay there that long. Another comment says, just infuriates me, and as society, we need to do better for our youth to lead them in a better direction. This young man, with so much in front of his future, violence taking him from his family, friends, teammates, and for what? Likely a ridiculous, meaningless reason, all because of someone trying to act hard, using a gun because they can't control their emotions or use their words to handle the situation, hard work in front of family and friends. He should be enjoying his senior year and excited about starting college. Yeah, man. You know, it was most likely something really petty and small. When you're in high school, everything is big and dramatic. Sad.
That much money. I think it's inhumane. Pick any city, walk around, you see people starving, people without basic necessities. There's no excuse for that. And it's not because people are lazy or don't want to work. The billionaires that keep amassing more and more wealth so they can build rocket ships and do whatever the hell they want to do, that does nothing for humanity.
Your critics say that's class warfare.
Yeah, class warfare has been going on in this country for the last 40 years. The billionaire class has been taking everything and leaving the working class with nothing.
So you welcome it. You want the war.
It's always, whenever working class people ever step up and say, this is wrong, we want it to stop, all of a sudden, oh, it's class warfare, it's the end of the world. No one needs that much money. I think it's inhumane. Pick any.
Yeah. So if you don't fight back, then everything is fine. It's like, oh, you want war. Like, no, I just want decent wages. I want decent life. Like, I don't want to struggle like every freaking week while you're making endless amounts of money. Like, they're always defending. I really don't understand that shit. I don't understand that shit. Why people are always defending these big corporations and these billionaires. Like, that's not you, bro. Like, they aren't you. They don't like you. They would step over you. They wouldn't pee on you if you was on fire. They do not care about you. Why are you defending them? Like, they're not on your team at all. They'll exploit you right along with the rest of us. You're not one of them. If you're one of them, then I understand, but you're not. And you never will be, ever. Crazy. Yes, it's class warfare, and it has been. And it's perfectly fine as long as people don't fight back. It's like, as soon as people fight back, then it's a problem. We're supposed to be okay with oppression. You know, we're supposed to be okay with slavery. We're supposed to be okay with being dehumanized and, you know, taken advantage of. We're supposed to be okay with that. Everything is fine. You know, the moment we pick our head up and be like, you know what, I'm not feeling this no more. Oh, you want a war? Like you're a terrible person. Like you're horrible. You're violent. Like this is violence. What you're doing to me. I'm starving. Another comment, it says, who could argue with that? Yeah, that first line he said, no one needs, what did he say? No one needs that much money. Like, it's gross. It's perverse. You know, we're going to have a trillionaire soon. We don't have any yet, but we're about to have a trillionaire.
And leaving the working class with nothing.
So you welcome it. You want the war.
It's always, whenever working class people ever step up and say, this is wrong, we want it to stop, all of a sudden, oh, it's class warfare. It's the end of the world. No one needs that much money.
No one needs that much money. That was the line I was looking for. Yeah, no one needs that much money. How much money is enough money? You know, how much money is enough money? Ask yourself that. What all do you need? You know, how much money do you need to have all the things that you need? You know, it's gross and it's perverse. If people were hoarding anything other than money, you know, you would call them a hoarder, you know. But if they can hoard as much money as they want, and then they're never considered a hoard, they're hoarding money. You know, if it was all stacked up in their house, they wouldn't be able to move around. The rats would eat it. It's gross. It's perverse. Comment says they've been convinced the poor people to defend the billionaires. They've even convinced the poor people to defend the billionaires. I swear that's true, and I don't know how. What a mind fuck. What a mind fuck. I argue with another poor person all the time, and they're defending some billionaire. Like, what does that do for you? You think that someday you're going to be one of them. So you want to keep all the tax loopholes, and you want to keep all of the situations that funnel all the money to the top and benefits these people who own the means of production and property and all of this. You know, what if it gets to the point where everything is private property and it's all owned by one person? One person owns all the private property, literally. Would you feel like there's a problem? Like you would never be able to buy any property because that one person owns it all. All you can do is rent from them or something. And then why would a person want to own all the property? Like, what benefit does that have for them? Like it's gross, it's perverse, it makes no sense, it's totally retarded, and I really don't get how people, the poor folks, defend this disgusting system. Another comment says, why isn't the hoarding of wealth to disgusting levels by billionaires seen as class warfare against the working classes? Exactly. Another one that says, clueless about economics. You do not generate wealth by taking it away from others. What? Clueless about economics. You do not generate wealth by taking it away from others. They're not talking about taking the wealth away from people, like people paying their fair share of taxes, like the same percentage rate as everybody else. Would you consider that taking their wealth away from them? You know, if people wasn't, you know, on the hamster wheel, living check to check and had no disposable income, if they had disposable income, then maybe they could build wealth on their own. You know, maybe they could create businesses. They can't. They're paying their rent, they're paying their mortgage, they're paying their car note. They can't invest. You know, and that's the way the system is set up for, you know, capital wins. Whoever has the most capital wins. You know, if you wasn't lucky enough to be born with a freaking what am I trying to look for? An inheritance or something, then you don't have a chance, really. You know, you could possibly win the lottery. You got 1 out of a billion chance of doing that. So, I mean, there's that. It says socialism, the politics of envy that drives everything to the lowest common denominator, envy. So that's what they say, you know. They're envious of these people, you know. I guess so. I'm envious of the person who was born with a trust fund, and you know, my parents didn't leave anything for me, so I'm envious of them. So I want everything to be the lowest common denominator, like, you know. And it's not about people all being on the same level, you know, because that'll never be. It's about fairness, you know. People having opportunities, equal opportunities. You know, they say if you work hard, you know, these people didn't work hard. They was born with a trust fund. Get the fuck out of here, man. These people have never worked hard in their whole life. They wouldn't know what working hard. They don't know what working hard looks like. Couldn't imagine it. Don't even wash their own dishes. They don't even wash their own clothes. They don't clean up their own house. They don't know nothing about none of that. Lose their damn mind if they didn't have their fucking maid 1 week. Nanny, maid, driver, you know, person who does their taxes and economic stuff. Like, ask them to do that shit on their own. They're not going to be able to do it. It says working people didn't start this, the wealthy did. They always denigrate a movement of commoners refusing to be exploited. They think this conflict only began when we got tired of them crushing us, and everything that came before was completely unrelated to our reaction. That sounds a lot like the Israel-Hamas conflict too. Another comment says, socialists think the economy is a pie to be divided up and passed around, but the economy is not a pie. It's an oven for baking pies. Socialists dismantle the oven and pass out the parts. Okay, that you thought you were really clever with that. You thought you were really clever, but you wasn't. We're talking about, like, if we want to talk about socialism, we want to talk about the means of production and who owns the means of production. So you're talking about the oven. So and the people can own the oven instead of one person owning the oven and everybody else working the oven. The workers can own the oven. Another comment says, you don't have to be a liberal to agree that billionaires hoarding wealth and obtaining their wealth by underpaying their employees, evading taxes, doing insider trading, etc. is wrong and will lead to the downfall of society like it has in the past every single time. Yeah. Can't go on forever. Like you have this perverse system that relies on the exploitation of people, you know, and at some point people just have enough and things are it causes a revolution. Another one that says, if he earned it, he can keep it. Okay. I mean, that's fair. Another comment that says, imagine liberal politicians convincing you that it's billionaires' fault you don't have a good life. This is as dumb as the right blaming immigrants. It's the politicians' fault, the end. Oh, yeah. Well, in your simple black and white world, I guess so. It's the politicians' fault. Well, who is in the pockets of the politicians? Like, who is, you know, controlling the politicians? Who dictates what the politicians do? Policies that they come, the lobbyists, you know, there. Start there and see where you land, you know. Where's all the money in politics coming from? It's the politicians. If it was that simple, then, you know, we could just get rid of the politicians and everything would be fixed. Another comment says, a simplest mindset set on blaming the complex reality of absolute and relative property on any person who has more relative to another group, claiming they exploited rather than cooperated with people to get it with no evidence and no solution beyond naive blind faith in the flawed political system known as democracy. I mean, part of this I agree with, I ain't gonna lie. He says claiming they exploited rather than cooperated with people to get it with no evidence and no solution. So, I mean, cooperated or exploited, I mean, I guess it depends on your perspective, right? You know, people have to pay their bills or they're going to starve. So that's their choice that they can make. They can either be homeless or they can pay their bills. So, you know, maybe they were cooperated with to get that wage. They decided to take that wage under the threat of being homeless. It says, we have all played Monopoly. We see how it ends every time. One guy smiling at 1 a.m. in the morning with hotels on every corner. One guy clinging on for dear life, and the rest sat out waiting for it all to end. Yup. Monopoly can only have one winner, and now it always ends with, you know, and then the money is useless at the end. Once the one guy owns everything, it's all useless. There's nobody left to land on your hotels. They don't have no money to pay. All their money is gone. You have all the money. You have the whole bank. You have all the properties. There's no point in even playing the game no more. It's over. Only way to start the game over again is to pass out money to everybody equally. Let's start the game over. I don't know. People can't think. It says the economy needs the flow of money to keep it going. Billionaires are holding so much money, the entire system is grinding to a halt. Exactly. One of the things I don't really understand about the way the system is like, you know, if these people only have enough money to pay their basic bills, like their bills that they have to pay, like rent and food or whatever, then how are, you know, you have products and services, you have a business and you want to sell that stuff. Who's going to pay for it? If you've exploited the people to the point where they can only pay for their bare essentials, then there's nobody buying your products or services. Like, you're not helping yourself. You know, if you hoard all of the money, then the other people don't have money to spend at your businesses. Like, it doesn't make sense. The economy needs the flow of currency, you know, so that the money being spread out, people having money. Like, if you pay people better at their job, then they're going to spend more into the economy. Rich people don't spend money. It just sits. I don't know. Don't matter how much I talk about that. They're gonna, people are so brainwashed. They're like, oh, you're a socialist. Oh, you're a communist. Why don't you go move to Russia, you damn commie?
U.S. Marines flying in forces to beef up security around the embassy and to help evacuate non-essential staff. The situation on the ground is becoming increasingly violent as armed gangs attempt to topple the government, leaving innocent people, including some Americans, in the crossfire. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers.
Tonight, with Haiti on the verge of collapse, the U.S. military evacuating non-essential embassy personnel overnight, choppering in Marines to reinforce the embassy. The State Department urging Americans to leave as gangs launched coordinated attacks across the country against the presidential palace and the Interior Ministry. Multiple police stations set on fire, gang soldiers showing off stolen flak jackets. The government now extending a state of emergency, and Caribbean leaders calling an emergency meeting Monday for what they call a, quote, dire situation. And tonight, ABC News speaking to the man behind it all, gang leader Jimmy Cherizier, known as Barbecue. He says the first step in the fight is to overthrow Ariel Henry, and then we start the real fight against the corrupt oligarchs and politicians. The unelected US-backed Henry took charge when President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated 2.5 years ago. Poverty, violence, and hunger soaring on his watch, now even the US pressuring him to step aside. Barbecue is Haiti's most notorious gang leader, a former police officer responsible for an explosion of violence. Even if Henry steps down, it's not clear who takes over or when new elections would take place. In the meantime, hospitals closed. Thousands of criminals have been freed, access to food or clean water increasingly scarce. Ordinary Haitians, innocent people, suffering.
And Rachel, Barbecue explicitly told me that if Ariel Henry resigns, he will call for an immediate ceasefire and halt his attacks on police. Though given the destruction that Barbecue and his gangs have caused over the last several years, many will be skeptical of that statement. Rachel?
Matt Rivers on this developing story. Matt, thank you. Staying overseas and to Haiti. Today, U.S. Marines flying in forces to beef up security around the embassy and to...
The situation continues to deteriorate in Haiti. Really, really sad. And yeah, I don't know that I would trust Barbecue either with what he's saying, you know. But it's really complicated, you know. And who's the good guys and who are the bad guys is not very easily determined. You know, we know that the bourgeoisie and the politicians are all working together and helping this situation be horrible, you know, and it's been like that for years there. So, you know, but will the gangs, you know, I would think that they would just replace the bourgeoisie and the politicians and do the exact same thing. You know, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say? You know, what does a revolution look like when it's in live? You know, when it's happening in real time? That's a question that you have to ask too. You know, it's really crazy times. The president of Haiti can't even come back. You know, there were attacks at the airport. You know, he went to Kenya or whatever. I think it was Kenya, to get help or whatever. And when he was coming back, you know, they told him you probably shouldn't land at the airport because it might not be a good idea. So he is in Puerto Rico right now, and he's hanging out in Puerto Rico, and he can't come back to Haiti right now. So it's like, who's in control in Haiti right now, you know? And then it's been a long time since the president was assassinated in Haiti, and this guy Henry has been in charge, and they haven't had any elections. And the people, you know, it's like, you're not a legitimate leader, like at all. Like, we didn't pick you. Like, you know, you don't have any real legitimacy. So then you got this void, and the gangs fill that void. And, you know, I saw some videos where people, they close off their neighborhoods, like they block the streets with trucks and stuff like that to kind of slow down the gangs and stuff. And just to have some little bit of autonomy, just a little bit of peace within their little neighborhood. Like, it's crazy how, you know, what people have to do to survive, you know. They don't have anybody helping. They don't have anybody to protect them. They got to protect themselves. You know, the gangs, they have all these weapons. Like, where are they getting the money for this stuff too? Like, where are they getting all these weapons and stuff? Like, you know, that's crazy. You know, the gangs, they kidnap people and they make money like that. Let's read this. It says, American troops evacuating embassy personnel from Haiti as non-essential workers are being airlifted out amid the growing violence. Reports as armed gangs are threatening a civil war. Comments, it says, decades of destabilization via the United States of America plus France caused all of this. Another one that says, how many airplanes full of Haitians did we rescue? Another one that says, but the Clintons did so much goodwill in Haiti. Another one that says, the fight should be against France and its atrocities against Haiti. Another one, this could happen here, don't think it won't. Mad Max. Another one that says, I watched on X, the gangs are eating people. Ooh, I don't think that's true. I mean, I saw some stuff about that too, but another comment says, dude's name is Barbecue, LOL. Yep, he's got the reputation of burning stuff. Another comment, it says, Barbecue sounds serious. He about to do a cookout down there. Another one that says, he couldn't have picked a better nickname. He was given that nickname. Anybody that's from the hood knows, like, you don't pick your nickname. The hood gives you a name and it just sticks because they just call you that. And that's how it happened with this guy too. Who knows what's gonna come out of this? It says gangs doing all that with no plan. I don't know, they might have a plan, like, you know. We're not gonna let them people keep doing what they're doing, so it's like we're gonna do what we're gonna do. GOP Senator Katie Britt defends citing sex trafficking victim story to slam President Biden. This was the one I kind of mentioned earlier. So what was the name? It says Alabama Senator Katie Britt is defending how she described the experience of a woman who was the victim of human trafficking, an account Britt pointed to when criticizing President Biden's border policies as part of the GOP response to his State of the Union speech. Despite what Britt implied, the abuse the woman endured happened more than 15 years ago in Mexico, rather than more recently in the U.S., according to multiple news reports. Britt said she didn't bring up the incident to intentionally blame Biden for what happened, but rather to point to it as an example of the trafficking that is still going on in 2024. Yeah, no, she just didn't know what she was talking about, or she was using it in a, bad faith way. It says the Republican Party lies constantly, but talk about God every 5 seconds. Using God's name for evil will never work. Another one that says, if she lied about this, what else is she lying about to her own state? Integrity. It says, one of the worst and most embarrassing GOP response in our history. Another one, here's one thing we know for sure, Republicans don't care about lies. Look who their leader is. Another one that says, even MTG said, what a whack job, and nobody knows one better than her. Major Taylor Greene called this chick a whack job. Where's that clip at? Calling the kettle black. It says, honestly, there should be a defamation lawsuit filed against her. I'm dead serious. Another one that says, she defends lying by lying. Another one that says, just another example of the clown show the Republican Party has become. This was ABC News. Hold on. Freaking, y'all heard about Tyson? The fight? When is it gonna happen? Let me see if I can pull that up. Tyson fight. Let's see if that makes it come up. Yeah, Jake Paul, I mean. What is this? Fox Local. Let's go to that right quick. Little entertainment side story.
The baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson, making his return to boxing this summer, and he's facing former YouTube star Jake Paul in Texas. Now, the whole thing is going to be streamed exclusively on Netflix. The fight is Tyson's second boxing match since 2005. He will be 58 years old when he enters the ring with Paul, but he's not taking his opponent lightly. He says Paul has grown significantly as a boxer over the last few years. Paul is 9-0 in his boxing career. That fight will be live streamed July 20th.
Yeah, so
earlier this week, Mike Tyson has been announced to return.
He doesn't. What did he say? 59 years old? He don't look like that, man. Watching him train, I think a lot of people wouldn't want to get in the ring with him, even at this age. He's in great shape. You know, this is all about money, though. You know, and they was talking about Jake Paul. I don't know. He's not a real professional boxer, and I think that freaking Tyson's gonna mash him. But you know, this is a competition. This is all a new thing. Like it's kind of like celebrity boxing, if you will. But they're making a lot of money off of these types of deals. I'm sure they're gonna make a killing off of this. It's smart. The people are going to be interested. They're going to be entertained. And, you know, the professional boxing league, I mean, it doesn't hurt them at all. Everybody wins. It's freaking music.
You scared coward.
Praise be to Allah.
The rematch is here.
Praise be to Allah. What do you say? I'm gonna eat your kids. I'm gonna eat your children. Nobody's better than me. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack. I love that quote. Do we have a better one? I can't play that one. It has so much music and shit in there. I can't play no ESPN clips. They're going to get me for that. Anyways, what do y'all think? Yeah, of course it's going to be a bit scripted. All of these are going to be scripted. And like professional boxing has gotten that way too because what's his name? Money Mayweather. He hasn't lost no fights, but he's the promoter too. So like, I mean, come on. Like, how do you think it gets to that point? Where, and I'm not taking that away from Mayweather. He's really, really good. And he's not a dumbass. Like people think he's stupid, but he's not. And it's all about money. I mean, that's what it's all about. And he gives people entertainment, gives people a show. That's what they want. So, but you're the promoter and you don't lose any fights. And that tells me that those fights was negotiated beforehand. I mean, and the person who takes the L, they don't care. They're leaving with freaking millions of dollars. Like, boxing has always been, you know, kind of shady. I don't see any more. What is this? Fight Club. Is this the same one I played? I don't want it. I don't want them to freaking flag me. Conor McGregor, what did he say?
Conor McGregor has given his thoughts on the bout between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. There's been tons of backlash from boxers, MMA fighters, everyone. But Conor McGregor would probably have been a better opponent next for Jake Paul than Mike Tyson, purely because of the age. But he had said this on the upcoming Netflix matchup.
Your thoughts on this Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
Oh, geez, I don't. It's a bit strange. You know, is my interest? The interest is a low one. I don't know. I don't really. I don't understand it.
Got it. Any difference between this one and?
I wish well for Mike.
The strange comment is the best way of putting it for me is because Jake Paul beats or knocks out Mike Tyson. Did he beat Mike Tyson? Because that is not the Tyson we know or respect. That is a lot older version. In his prime, obviously, he would have killed Jake Paul. So this fight is just more of a show because at his age, he's obviously nowhere near what he was back in the day. The build-up is obviously going to be entertaining. It's two good trash talkers, and a lot of people watch it. It's going to be free on Netflix, and they already have it. But are you guys excited? Let me know.
I don't know. Y'all underestimated Mike. I saw him training, and he's in great shape, bro. He's in great shape. I don't know. And then he was a professional fighter. He still trains people. So, like, I mean, if it's an actual fight, well, you know, which I kind of doubt, but, you know, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to leave with a check, and then people are going to be entertained. So that's the whole point. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. It makes me want to kind of get Netflix. I don't have Netflix right now, but and I'm not into boxing. I don't like to see people bash their freaking each other's head in and shit. Like I definitely don't like UFC. But this is kind of interesting to me. What do y'all think? Let's go back to Insta. I think Mike Tyson's gonna beat him. If it's an actual fight, I think Mike Tyson's gonna beat him. The dude is in great shape.
Two big myths about Donald Trump and black people. Myth number
You
one.
never heard anything about Donald Trump being racist until he ran for president and won.
Not true. Trump's history of racism goes back decades. The Nixon administration sued him for refusing to rent to black people in the 1970s. He led a lynch mob against 5 innocent black and brown teenagers in the Central Park 5 case in the 1980s. He claimed that
a well-educated black has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white.
he was fined for racial discrimination at his casinos in the 1990s. He used racist language to fight against Native American casinos.
They don't look like Indians to me.
And he was quoted as saying he didn't want black people counting his money, only Jews. Then he led a 5.5-year racist campaign challenging President Obama's birth certificate.
You have people now down there searching, I mean, in Hawaii. Absolutely. And they cannot believe what they're finding.
Heck, even Republicans knew he was racist.
Man that chooses not to disavow the KKK. That's not who we want as president.
Here's Lindsey Graham.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
And his top black aide, Omarosa.
Donald Trump will go down as the most racist president in the history of our nation.
Even his future White House press
To
secretary.
me, a racist statement's a racist statement. I don't like what Donald Trump said.
Yeah, we knew. Myth number 2.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump.
Not true. Trump appointed the 3 Supreme Court justices who overturned affirmative action. He appointed fewer black judges than any president in decades. He signed an executive order banning critical race theory, DEI, diversity, or any kind of training on racial sensitivity. He led a racist campaign against black quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
Get that son of a off the field right now. Out. He's
He
fired.
attacked civil rights hero John Lewis. He attacked black countries as country. He vetoed a bill to remove Confederate names from military bases. He canceled President Obama's plan to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. He gave a Medal of Freedom to racist Rush Limbaugh. He tear-gassed peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters outside the White House. He tweeted a video of a supporter chanting and then tried to throw out millions of black votes in Atlanta, Detroit, and Philadelphia when he lost the 2020 election.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump.
Say what you want about Donald Trump, but don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. It's time to debunk 2 big myths about Donald Trump and black people. Myth number
You never
1.
heard anything about Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't know, man. In the media landscape, like what's true and what's not, I think that a lot of people don't really care. You know, they believe what they believe. They feel like everything is fake news. You have all of these clips that you just played, that this guy just played, and people are still going to say, you know, Donald Trump isn't racist. I don't know. Data and facts don't matter nowadays. Joyanne Reed posted this. She says, enough with the lies and fake AI images. Being black and for Trump is like being cows for cheeseburgers. Don't get played. Wake the F up and stay woke. Comments. It says, this is all bogus claims again. Joy Reid Lynch mob trying to create hostility. Not working. Joy Reid, try harder. This is all bogus claims. See, that's what I said. That's what people are going to say. Like, what do you say about the Republicans who called him racist? What is your rebuttal to that? What is your rebuttal to the lawsuit that happened related to his properties, where people were felt like they were being discriminated against? That happened years ago. Another comment says, because he speak for all black people, according to Joe Biden, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. What a bunch of bullshit. Okay, so but we're not talking about Joe Biden right now. We're talking about Trump right now. Yeah, that comment that Biden made was like, I did a whole skit on that. It was hilarious. You know, it's totally ridiculous what Biden said, you know. But that we're not talking about Biden. Why do y'all do that? Why do y'all do that? We're saying that, you know, why do people think that Trump is not racist? And then you go on to talk about something that Biden said. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with Trump. Another comment that says, I will never understand how any black person can support Trump. Another comment, it says, and I'll do one for Biden. You could actually, but again. Another comment says, you forgot the biggest one. Find people on both sides. Another comment says, and every black in these comments whose fingers type Trump 2024 should go on and Google every one of these statements for yourself. It's that simple. Educate yourself. It's scary that you would vote against yourself. You know, these people, they feel like, you know, it's all bullshit or whatever, but they'll never actually do any. They're talking about, I do my own research. You haven't typed anything in your Google search bar in ever. You haven't read anything in ever. You just listen to what people say and repeat their stuff that they say, you know. Look it up yourself if you know, but you already feel like it's not true, so you don't feel like there's a reason for you to try to look it up. The only information you're going to look up is the information that's going to support what you already believe to be true. And you're going to get that information from biased freaking sources. Another comment says, they need to put this on every commercial until he's out of our lives. Another one that says, when people say he's not racist, makes me ponder their intelligence. Another comment, it says, the fact that this is necessary is ridiculous. That is true. Another one that says, this should be a damn campaign ad because we approve this message. It says, coming from NYC, this was a given since the 70s. Another comment, it says, can't make these things up. There's a lot of receipts. This needs to go viral. Another one that says, when George Floyd was getting killed, he hid in the bunkers, so he didn't have to answer to that. Another one that says, I'm going to unfollow you because I can never get an objective opinion. If you were going to bring up things from the early 90s and the 1980s about Donald Trump, why are you not bringing up Joe Biden's past? 1994 crime bill, remember that. 1997, Biden said integrating black students would turn the school into a jungle, and he doesn't want his kids growing up in a jungle. Biden referring to Jesus Jackson as a boy. And all of that is true, but that is not we're not talking about Biden. We're talking about Trump. Like, so does saying that Biden is racist, does that negate Trump being racist? Where's the logic?
Not the only true religion. I represent the Ordinala. That's the Igbo traditional religion. You understand? This religion or this culture has been in existence before Christianity.
Excuse me. Christianity is the only true way. You said it has been before existence. It has never been before existence. The Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and He was in the beginning before the world was made. Let's go to creation. How were you made?
Chukwu Okike Abiama created me.
No way.
You see, one thing about you Christians is that you are all over yourselves, like your Jesus Christ. He said he is the only way, the truth, and the life. Do you know, if I want to talk about myself now, after this show now, if I go outside, I'll go and be telling people that I'm the only one that said everything that everybody accepted. I would like to blow my trumpet. He blew his trumpet and you people are running with it. How can you say you are the only way? That is braggadocious. That guy is arrogant. Christianity is not the only true religion. I represent the Ordinala. That's the Igbo, a traditional religion. You understand? This religion or this culture has been in existence before Christianity.
Keruka Idi. Yeah, man. They always go back to the Bible. Oh, what did the Bible say? It's like the Bible was the beginning, the middle, and the end. Like, it was nothing before the Bible. Like, can't tell these people nothing. I like what he said about the arrogance too. It's like, you people are arrogant. Like, I am the only way. The only way. It says my Igbo tradition, religion was in existence before Christianity. Odinala Igbo tradition, worshippers and evangelicals in serious debate. Yeah, man. You can't tell them nothing. Can't tell them nothing. If you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, you're going to hell. All the other religions be damned. Chaka Bars posted this. It says, love to all Nigeria, especially those who are open-minded to the real. Comments, it says, Christianity abolished slavery. Where's your evidence to support that? Christianity abolished slavery. Man. Christianity created slavery. Oh, man. The modern day slavery, anyways. It says Christianity kept Ethiopia colonization free. I don't know, man. Ethiopia, I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe that's true. Comment says slavery really did a number on us. Well, that lady is from Africa, clearly by her accent. So maybe she's Igbo just like him. So slavery may not be a part of this. Not everybody was slaves. It says, once someone says the Bible says, I don't want to hear anything after that. I'm telling you, it's like the Bible says. Another comment says, religion was created to confuse, divide, and control. Love is my religion. I like that. Another one that says, there's only one true way, and that is Islam. See, you sound just like the Christians. Another comment that says, the truth is we don't know nothing, and we should study everything. Also, if you read the Emerald Tablets, y'all might think twice about everything. Yeah. We don't know anything, so we should study everything. That's kind of my mantra. It says, it's so sad to see brainwashed Black people like this woman. Another one that says, I'm so proud to be Igbo and grateful to the ancestors for not giving up on me. Odinala is the way of life. Another one that says, LOL, praying to white man. Another one that says, braggadocious. Yeah, that part is funny. That is really funny. It says, the Christian lady is so brainwashed. It's like she's under a spell. So pitiful. She's not even worth trying to reform her. Just let her go on with whatever she's got running in her mind. You ain't better tell her nothing. That's braggadocious. Jesus is the only way. 100. Somebody put. It's the only way. Jesus is the only way. Let's play this again because that dude's funny.
Christianity is not the only true religion. I represent the Ordinala. That's the Igbo, a traditional religion. You understand? This religion or this culture has been in existence before Christianity.
Excuse me. Christianity is the only true way. You said it has been before it existed. It has never been before it existed. The Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and He was in the beginning before the Word was made. Let's go to creation. How were you made?
Chukwu Okike Abiama created me.
No way.
You see, one thing about you Christians is that you are all over yourselves. Like your Jesus Christ. He said he is the only way, the truth, and the life. Do you know, if I want to talk about myself now, after this show now, if I go outside, I'll go and be telling people that I'm the only one that said everything that everybody accepted. I would like to blow my trumpet. He blew his trumpet and you people are running with it. How can you say you are the only way? That is braggadocious. That guy is arrogant. Christianity is not the only truth.
He was like, my religion's been here before Christianity existed. No, it wasn't. Christianity, the beginning was God, and God was the Word, and Word was God. That was before your little indigenous religion. It wasn't there at the beginning of time. The Word was there before the beginning of time. Bruh. So the caveman, was the caveman's Christians? Fucking, was the Neanderthals Christians? It says, woman loses both feet after her boyfriend pushes her onto subway track, police sources. It says, a woman lost both her feet after her boyfriend allegedly pushed her onto the subway tracks in New York City into the path of an oncoming train, police sources said. The 29-year-old woman and her boyfriend were reportedly arguing at the Fulton Street subway station in Manhattan Saturday morning when he allegedly shoved her onto the tracks, police said. The victim was transported to the local hospital in stable condition, and the boyfriend allegedly fled the scene, police said. No arrests have been made, and the investigation remains ongoing. Sad story, man. Domestic stuff is really, 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 really dangerous, man. Be careful who you freaking get into relationships with. They don't care about you if they're going to push you on the freaking tracks. Was he trying to kill her? Shit. Luckily that she only lost her feet. Ain't a lot of people scare me. That's probably why I'm single. It says, comments, it says, I wonder if she's stepping out and cheating on the relationship. I mean, even if that was the case, that justifies him pushing her onto the tracks? Why even ask that question? I mean, I guess if you're trying to be funny, she's not doing no more stepping out and cheating no more because she don't have no more feet. It says, emotionally unregulated men are the source of so much heartache. Another one that says, definitely an attempted murder charge. I'm telling you, man. Sounds like he was trying to kill her. It says, there really should be guardrails and gates until the train arrives. Yep. I saw something how they do it in Japan, and it's like you can't fall on the tracks over there because they have like all these safety deals. Another comment says, this is attempted murder charge for the boyfriend. This is utterly disgusting and disgraceful. We pray for the woman's speedy recovery. I mean, she's going to recover without no feet. It says, what the F is wrong with men? Another one says, no arrests have been made. Come on, man. Well, they just haven't found him. Trust and believe he's got it coming. Another comment that says, what kind of a man would do that to their partner? Crazy person. Another one says, don't arrest him. Just do exactly what he did to her and let him go. That sounds like justice to me. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I don't condone this stuff. So, you know, disclaimer. But at the same time, Another comment says, no one deserves this. This is an act of cruelty, and the man should not have freedom again. Criminal act. Lock him up forever. Another one, so she gets pushed and no arrests were made. So what good is having cops around? Yeah, well, they got time to mess with the damn protesters. I got a clip about that. Like, they were saying that all of the police presence in the subways, like, you know, the mayor, he increased the police presence in the subways, and not about like crime actually being up because it was lower, but it was about people feeling safer or whatever. So, but then that just leads to police state because it was people protesting the Palestinian, the Israel Hamas war, and freaking the cops like arrested them roughly, like brutally arrested them for protesting on the subway. It says, with NYPD and National Guard there, what a joke. It says, where was the National Guard? I mean, it's a lot of people on the subway. I mean, like, it probably happened really quickly and then he ran away. I mean, they're going to get him. They will get him. I thought this was kind of funny. Cat Williams, because he did that interview and said that he ran a 4.5 or something like that. He said on the thing, and so they did a demonstration. This dude got a 4.97. He's 52 years old. Man, my knees would go out if I tried to do this shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's the timing? What's the timing? What's the timing? What's the time? What's the time? What's the time? What's the time? No! Let me see. Mo, let me see that. Let me see that. I'm at 497. 497. 497.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 4.97 for a 52-year-old. Yeah, there's that TV show Atlanta they were talking about. He was the alligator man in one of the episodes. Really, really great show. If I ain't seen it, Atlanta. And yeah, he was the alligator man. In the episode, he ran down the street. And you could see in that show, he was getting it. Anyways, so he said he runs fast at 52 years old, and apparently he was not lying. I'm telling you, man, fuck my knees up or something if I try to do that shit. And I'm not 52. I'd be scared to do a full sprint. Literally, I'd be scared to do a full sprint. Be scared I won't be able to go to work the next day.
For us to just put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
National security interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens, because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris instead of actually
hold on
making
a
their
second.
country
Hold on.
better.
People on the
land.
left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes. Then it's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
National security interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens.
So there's African countries that's invading. What countries is he talking about anyways? Like, so what countries are African countries invading? What European countries are African countries invading? Like, what is he talking about? This is like, He said basically all African countries are incapable of freaking ruling themselves. Like, this is hateful, simplistic bigotry, racism, all wrapped up. Arrogance and ignorance all wrapped up together. This kind of stuff really kind of gets under my skin, like, heavily. I don't even know where to start. It says, founder of Blackwater calls on the West to recolonize Africa and other developing countries. This dude is ignorant. So stupid. You've drank the Kool-Aid, buddy. Comments says, Google his family. Betsy DeVos is his sister, and the former Education Secretary of the United States. This is who sets the agenda for your child's education. Betsy DeVos is a scary person. I ain't gonna lie. She's scary. I've done whole shows on Betsy DeVos. If you don't know who she is, look her up. So that's his sister. These are the people that really kind of like, I ain't going to say they rule the world because they don't really rule the world, but they have a lot of influence, man. A lot of influence. They feel like it's like the villain from the comic book. Like, they're trying to save the world or whatever, but they're really doing evil. In their heart, though, they're doing good. They're all born with a lot of money, and they have a lot of privilege, and they feel like they alone can, save the world. Comments that says, what the F? This is not our country, continent, or people, not our business. You just want the resources. Another one that says, put the imperial hat back on. It was never taken off. Another comment that says, colonizers always feel they know best. Another one, but he just described the U.S. government. Another one that says, the irony of an imperialist discussing the corruption in Africa countries when U.S. politicians are owned by lobbies and vote on corporations and projects that they invest in is laughable. People are still denied full voting rights. That includes the formerly incarcerated. We are still treated as second-class citizens systematically and culturally, but he wants to invade a whole continent because they can't rule themselves. I call BS. Glad he is saying it out loud. This is how he really thinks. I thought they was going to go into the fact that because he said the irony of the U.S. of imperialists discussing the corruption in African countries. I thought he was going to go on and say that, it's the U.S. that has a lot to do with these African countries being in the position that they're in, meddling with them. Whenever it's a leader that's actually looking out for the people, then they go in and they overthrow them. They install puppet governments. It says Africa has its issues, but America has more. Focus on yourself. Another one, it says America will have a CIA go destroy a country and blame them for not governing themselves. Boom. Basically what I was saying. Much more clearer. Yeah, man. That can make me angry right there.
在美国你好好的干，好好的工作，比国内要强几万倍，这是梦想开始的地方。我都不信了，被骗了3000多，找不到地方管。这是美国，我一定要搞个水落石出。
See, man, people could think, hey, let me read it. It says, Mitinge, a food delivery driver in California. He took a dangerous route through Latin America to seek asylum in the U.S. In America, if you work hard, this is his words, you'll be 10,000 times better than in China. This is where the dream begins. But the dream soon became a nightmare. Can't believe I'm being cheated of more than 3,000. There's no one I can turn to. This is America. I must get to the bottom of this. Yeah, buddy. So, like, this is what happens. You don't really understand, America, how this is America, bruh. This is your wake-up call. This is you realizing what it's really like over here, Yeah, you can make some money. You totally can. And you can get screwed, too. You can get robbed by a corporation. Totally. Al Jazeera posted this. It says, the harder stuff happens to you. Wait. The harder stuff happens after you get to America. Social media celebrity Tingy crowdfunded his way from China to the U.S., but started a new life in America brings its own set of problems. Another one says, it's almost like American propaganda has intentionally built this aggrandized image of the nation, and people have been misled to believe the American dream is an American reality. Yeah, because that's what he was saying. He was like, I'm sure that's what people told him. It was like, if you go to America, you can, your life will be 10,000 times better. Come over here and it's like, the grass ain't as green as it seems from the other side of the fence. Another comment says, they come here for the American dream and realize it was all a lie. Instead, you're a slave to capitalism. Another comment says, as an American, I was told how lucky I am to be here growing up. I heard of the American dream, but I and everyone I know is struggling to just pay rent. Not enough money to call in sick to work and miss a day of pay. Hoping not to end up on the streets. I couldn't imagine coming over here to start with nothing. I hope it gets easier for him. Yeah. Another one says, the Fuller video shows it was other Chinese immigrants exploiting him for his money, but he's right on average. Hard work in the U.S. does lead to much better economic outcomes than in the PRC, and citizens can actually own property, unlike the leases the party can revoke anytime. There's rich people in China, and they own property. So, another one says, the American dream, you know what they call it, a dream, right? Gotta be asleep. Another one says, America sells you the idea that it's better here, yet the citizens are constantly and immediately overlooked for foreign proxy wars. They lure you in and make you work to give them taxes. It's all money. There is no soul or love left in this country en masse. They've been imprisoning their citizens in every way possible. Truly sad. It doesn't have to be like this, yet it is more and more every day. It says America has amazing marketing. Yeah, buddy. Get some more people over here so we can exploit them. It says, woman found dead inside her parked car from apparent fatal injury, HPD says. HPD said that the woman told her family she was going to the convenience store around 1 a.m. Friday for snacks, but never returned home. It says, found dead due to fatal injury. Give that detective a raise. He detected the shit out of that. Well, they probably, if it's still an ongoing investigation, they can't really release a lot of details, even though it looks like they got the whole ass license plate in there. But yeah, they're not going to release a lot of details if they're still doing an investigation. I don't know if this is the one with the chick that was killed by her boyfriend. I don't know. I think this is different. A comment, it says, it's Houston. You don't go out after 6 p.m. Oh, man. It is kind of dangerous out there. 3 a.m. is about my mark where you don't want to. I want to be home in my house by 2, 3 a.m. I don't want to be out there in the streets after that. It ain't nothing but criminals and drug dealers and dope fiends out there at that time, and alcoholics and shit. People, you know, run you over and keep on going. Yeah, you don't want to be out there after 2, 3 a.m. You don't want to be out there. For what? There ain't no trouble in them streets. It says she left home to go to the corner store all the way in Sunnyside. Nah, yeah, it was something else going on. Another one says, I knew her, prayers for her family and children, and pray to God they find who did this. Another one says, the woman's family told police she was a night owl and was known to go out that time of night, early morning. I hope her killer is caught RP. Yeah, what was she doing? Like I say, it ain't nothing but scammers, criminals, dope fiends, dope dealers. Go take ass in the house.
These trips, there was a hotel at the beginning of the Royal Bahamas. I didn't include that. I didn't want to do the math, and I.
Trump lawyer, 200K. It says, so making 200K a year is suspicious for taking 3,500 trips. Has a lot of facts and stuff on Fannie Williams. He says, so someone making 200K a year is suspicious for taking 3,500 trips? Yes. That's a lot of trips. I don't know, that music is in there, so I can't play that. It's a lot of drama. Turkey Leg Hut. It says Turkey Leg Hut's business office catch on fire near Third Ward. So yeah, the husband and wife, I don't know if they actually divorced, but they split up, and she basically fired him, and he's no longer a part of Turkey Leg Hut, her husband, and he opened up a thing across the street where he was selling smoked oysters, and people are standing in line too, waiting hours for these oysters. They must be good. I'm sure they're overpriced. Everything coming from them is overpriced. I don't know. It's a lot of drama with this. So, but then her office catches fire. You know, I bet you it's all kinds of records in there. Who knows, man? A lot of money caught up in this situation. It says a fire broke out at the Turkey Leg Hut's business office in the early hours of Saturday. Somebody says surviving Turkey Leg Hut. They need to make a TV show. I'm sure it will be at some point, a movie or something, because there's so much drama coming out of that. It says, y'all get off that BS. Bro was way across the street selling oysters. Basically saying it was the husband who set the fire. Another comment says, they all gonna be in jail by the end of it all. Another one says, this brother start more fires than a pit master. It's a toxic ass relationship between them. It says, I'm not the one to gossip, but this is the exact thing a certain someone from Turkey Leg Hut paid someone to do to 5015, shaking my head. Another one that says, they found an oyster in the fire. Another one that says, he did it. That's why his ass frying oysters under that bridge now, bald head, tail self. It says, this is how fast I ran to comments and did not disappoint. I'm crying. It says 50 Cent needed Turkey Leg Hut series while he in Houston. Other comment says, baby, we is tired. Take us out the Turkey Leg Hut group chat. Another one that says, man, insurance job and blame the husband. 2 birds, 1 match, and gasoline. That could be the case. Another one that says, they're acting divorced so they won't have to go down together. And now insurance, they know what they're doing. Another one says, turkey leg cut 30 for 30, gonna be crazy. Yeah, drama. Yeah, I would go into the backstory of that, but I don't care.
So Mark Zuckerberg removed the monetization on my latest video on YouTube because I was telling the truth, but I only post what he said about him censoring all social media platforms that he controls, and he's affiliated with the government, and they reached out to him to cover up anything about Biden and his family and the crimes that they commit, and anything about the C-19 shot.
Yeah, so you guys censored that as well?
So we took a different...
I can't play no Joe Rogan clips. They'll come from me for that.
Feels like the devil just crawled through here.
Sheldon Johnson, accused of killing a man and dismembering his body. But Johnson says they have the wrong man.
I'm innocent.
The victim, 44-year-old Colin Small. Tuesday night, police found his torso and arms inside his apartment in the Highbridge section of the Bronx after the super called cops. A tenant called him around 1 a.m.
Someone was pleading for their life.
Prosecutors allege at one point he was seen on video leaving the victim's apartment wearing the victim's clothing. Then last night, investigators say they found the victim's head and legs in Johnson's freezer at his Harlem apartment. The medical examiner says the victim was shot once in the head. Johnson is an ex-con who today works as a criminal justice reform advocate. He served about 25 years behind bars for attempted murder and has a long rap sheet filled with other violent crimes. The courtroom was filled with his supporters at his arraignment tonight, with one wearing a jacket reading, specializing in wrongful conviction cases. The executive director of his employer, the Queen's Defenders, also at court. They all declined comment.
It feels like the devil just crawled through here.
Yeah, well, if somebody was trying to frame him and they put body parts in his house, I mean, like, how would they get into your house to put body parts in your freezer? Then why the hell was he wearing the dude's clothes? Like, bruh, it don't sound too good for you, you know? You already got a history of doing criminal activities. Like, it's not looking too good for you, buddy. It says Sheldon Johnson, who previously served about 25 years behind bars for attempted murder and other charges, appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast last month, where he talked about how he turned his life around. I don't know. Apparently, he didn't turn his life around. Wow. Dude had torsos and heads and stuff in the freezer, like chopping bodies up. And like I said, if somebody, because I saw the clip where he said that he's innocent. But I mean, like, if somebody was trying to frame you and they were putting body parts in your house, how the hell did they do that? Another comment that says, sir, who put that stuff in your freezer? Telling you, like, it's not really funny, but it says, reply to that one. It says, clearly either Donald Trump or the cops. Okay. Another one that says, it was there when I got here, I swear. Another one says, people are slow. Tell you. Another comment that says, supporters, with all that proof and video, yeah, right. Another one that says, New York has become a gateway to hell. Another comment that says, he's on camera leaving the apartment in the victim's clothes, and they found body parts in his apartment. Yes, sir, you're done. Another one that says, he just made fools out of all of them. Another comment that says, how can he have supporters with that many body parts in his fridge? Yo, after 25 years in jail, yeah, he liked jail. Another one that says, Lord, just throw NYC away already. What the F every day? You think you effing heard it all. Then boom. It says, this is something out of the Dahmer's Chronicles. Another one that says, so he was wrongfully convicted so he can do it again. Another one that says, this guy was just on Joe Rogan's podcast too. Wait till Joe Rogan hears this. Another one says, I'm actually surprised they didn't let him go like the butchers out of Suffolk County, Long Island. Another one that says, so how did the body parts get into your apartment? It says all this evidence and he's still denying it. Another one that says, it's giving Jeffrey Dahmer with body parts being found inside of a freezer. I truly hope he doesn't get out this round. You know, our justice system, I mean, if he got enough money to get a good enough lawyer, he might be able to beat their case. We'll do a couple more and I'm gonna get out of here.
Excuse me, Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among a civilian population like cowards.
Like cowards, says the guy who's responsible for dropping tens of thousands of massive bombs on a captive civilian population. Because really, the buck stops with the Western political elite. Of course, I wouldn't expect Genocide Joe to recognize 75 years of brutal occupation, the fact that America is a massive imperialist hegemonic empire, the fact that Israel is an illegal occupation of Palestinian lands and they have a right to armed resistance under international law. Of course, it suits the purposes of empire to demand that 30,000 fighters from a concentration camp, who again have a right to armed resistance, don't go toe-to-toe with a next-generation military with fifth-generation fighter bombers, tanks, hundreds of thousands of shitty reservists, but they're still soldiers, I guess, a fleet of Predator and Reaper drones that are in the sky at all times. But if you don't stand out in the open to get picked off by AI-driven weapons, you're a fucking coward. As the disproportionately powerful occupying force, Israel is responsible for the civilian casualties. But an empire never wants a fair fight, and it wants to blame its atrocities on you. And if you use unconventional tactics that inconvenience them in any way, you are a terrorist using terror tactics. Because remember, from the imperial perspective, Star Wars is the story of an orphan boy who becomes radicalized after a military strike kills his family. He's indoctrinated into an ancient religion, joins a band of rebel insurgents, and carries out a terrorist attack, killing 300,000 people. The idea of resistance is just like a fun fantasy for all you fascist simps, when in reality, you just want to be told what to do. You just want to be more worthy, good mind slaves for the man. You are totally not the cowards. The resistance that's outnumbered, outgunned, and outspent, they're really the cowards. You guys are such a fucking joke. You're so contemptible. And when the only argument that empire has left to defend itself are debunked claims of sexual assault, you know the empire is crumbling.
But Israel has a...
So, Greg Stoker, he says, these simps love the idea of resistance as an inspiring fantasy, but really they just want to be told what to do and what to believe. Yeah, so when it's in a movie, it's all cool and entertaining and you root for the underdog, but when it's in reality, you root for the freaking establishment and the underdog. They're terrorists and they're bad guys and they should all be eliminated. It's really sad. I saw a post that said, what do you think you would have done during slavery or during the Holocaust or whatever? It's like, you're doing it now. Another comment, it says, the number of folks that consume media that pits a resistance force defying all odds against an imperial villain that will not defend or support Palestinians have been personally demoralizing. All of these hours reading manga and watching anime for what? Another comment says, I'm a surgeon from Al-Shifa Hospital in Northern Gaza Strip. You must do everything to bring aid into the Northern Gaza Strip. There is an acute shortage of medicine and food. We do not want the airdrops. There are hundreds of thousands in the Northern Gaza Strip, and the airdrops do not covering these numbers. We want field hospitals and medical points. Yeah, it's crazy how crazy it is where they have to do airdrops to try to get aid to these people. That's where we are. It's like random ass airdrops. And then you had the freaking massacre that happened around aid. The media is trying to twist that shit, but the videos, everything is out there. Like, what happened is what happened. Like, there's no other way. Like they're talking about it was a stampede or some shit. Like they're making it's just a bunch of lies. Another comment says every Israeli over 18 reports for duty in the IDF, which means every IDF soldier lives among the civilian population. Israel is a military built on human shields. Another one that says Israel uses its civilians as human bait to justify war. Another one that says resistance is a legal international right where military occupation is harming rather than protecting the local indigenous population. The UNGA has even confirmed that Hamas is legal and we're not asking to stop resisting by the ICJ, only to continue to do with international law. Anyone coming to me with hostages only do so if you agree that all hostages should be released, including the 73,000 in Israel torture kidnap centers, 100% against international law, often taken from Palestinian land to occupied land, also against international law and often killed. Resistance is freeing Palestine. Yeah, this topic here kind of takes my breath away.
I'm from Motown, where our music has changed the world in so many incredible ways forever. But artists in my district and across our country are struggling to make ends meet in an industry where the money just keeps going to executives and shareholders. It would take more than 800,000 streams per month to make equivalent of $15 an hour. In the vast majority of our artists are on platforms like Apple Music, Spotify. And one of the things that even for them, they never ever get to 800,000 streams in a year. This is a big deal. Streaming now represents 84% of recorded music industry's revenue in the United States. But most of the artists who bring joy to our lives and culture aren't seeing any of it. The Living Wage for Musicians Act, which I introduced through Representative Bowman, would change that by creating a new fund that aims to pay artists at least 1 penny per stream. The bill will completely reform the music industry, supporting much more diverse set of artists, enabling more recording and touring, and sending a ripple effect throughout local economies by supporting professionals throughout the music industry. I truly encourage my colleagues to learn more about this, co-sponsor the bill, and help change artists' lives forever.
Yeah, when they switched over to streaming, you know, the corporations, it's always been a shady ass industry with music, but they're really cashing in now with the streaming because they don't have to pay the artists nothing. And, you know, corporations are making a killing as the way things are going, you know. It says Spotify and Apple Music would be forced to pay artists more than 0.003% per stream if the bill gets passed. So this is Rashida Tlaib trying to introduce something. Tyrese posted this. He says, every rapper, singer, songwriter, and music producer you know, tag them in the comments and let's repost. Enough is enough. The first comment says, why is government involved in everything? Because they need to be, like, that's what they're for. Like, the corporations are just going to rape and pillage with impunity. Like, there needs to be some kind of check and balance. Like, that's what we get. That's what these people represent us for. That's what we vote for. That's the whole point. You know, just let the damn corporations go free and do whatever the hell they want to do. I'm gonna move on. That damn comment just triggered the hell out of me. It says, seems like a good time to remind everyone that France stole $21 billion from Haiti in 1825. If it were a loan with 10% interest compounded annually at 0% inflation, France would owe Haiti $2.7 quintillion today. So when he says stole 21 billion, he's not talking about like the money that they made Haiti pay for reparations after the war. No, literally they went into the vaults of the banks and took the money, like literally physically took the money. It says, love to all from Haiti. What is going on there right now is very sad. It's being funded by the government of the USA. You know, what if they just gave, like, without all the interest, just give them the 21 billion back? I wish they would never do, you know, but just give them that. I mean, the France has it. They got the money. Let's read another comment. Says, let's also not forget that the USA took all the gold from Haiti's treasury and gold reserve in 1915 when they occupied Haiti, and that gold was never returned. So, yeah, and I read about that too. That happened too. That's a real thing. Another one that says, and when I say I'm never going to France, people ask, didn't you want to see the Eiffel Tower? No, I want to see them pay Haiti back. Yeah, man. Ask a black guy where he wants to go, and he says, I want to go to Paris. It's like, why? Another comment says, thank you for posting this. Unfortunately, a lot of Black Americans don't know the Haitian history and believes what the media says about my country. Another one says, the entire world should organize and create a banking system that holds colonial powers and world leaders responsible for their corrupt policies against humans. How would that work? It says, are they trying to make us think this would be a bad thing? It says Biden's plan to cut $3 trillion from the national debt, soak billionaire corporations with tax increases. Yeah, how they use those words. It says the Biden administration recently proposed increasing the minimum corporate tax from 15% to 20% and implementing a 25% minimum tax for billionaires. It probably won't pass. Corporations got their hands in the pockets of the politicians.
One of your Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And but what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. Proposed and signed, not one of them.
Look over here, Mr. President.
Is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down.
Yeah, the one before where he was talking about Medicare or Medicaid, one of them being able to negotiate pharmaceutical prices, that's a big fucking deal. Like, that's a really good thing. It says, if you want to honor John Lewis and the heroes who marched with him on Bloody Sunday 59 years ago, it's time to do more than talk. Pass and send me the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. It says, I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years. Now let's beat them again and ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. It says, no one should be jailed for just using or possessing marijuana. I'm tired, y'all. I think I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know. I might do a bonus show this coming week. It's spring break, so I got a little bit of extra time. But I got to go. Peace and love. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for joining.